Well, happy Friday, everyone. Here we are with Total Traffic and Conversion. I'm Greg Dixon, and we're here with Betty Withrow and Roy Dickan. Joey Garrity realized what she's driving. She can't make it. So anyway, so we have and this has what I'm talking about today, what we're going to talk about today came out of a conversation that we had in order to try to clarify what we do, as Total Traffic and Conversion. So I've got a little overlay I'm going to put over top here, and explain what it means, and then we're going to have a conversation about what some of this means here. So okay, I just have to find this. Make sure I don't put the wrong one over. Okay, so here's this little information graphic here, and it says your dream mission success playbook. So we were having a conversation. We decided, it came up, two of us separately, Joey and I both separately on the same day come up with who is our ideal client, and we come up with somebody who has a mission. So, so okay, that's pretty open, but there's something. Many of the people that we like working with come to us with some kind of fairly audacious life mission that's calling them. They have to put it in place, and they don't know really how to do it. So this little graphic here, the first of all at the bottom here, all those stars is your mission, really. And then our first process is we sit down and talk to you and help clarify what it is. Like, we try to understand what it is, and maybe it's not totally in focus for you yet either. So the process of discussing it and talking about it helps clarify the whole thing. And then once we have that straight, and this is where Joey would come in here. She's worked with Disney, and she's worked with many of the Hollywood studios in order to launch blockbuster movies or launch influencers, get people, build them up as a star. And she has a playbook. And we were hoping she would come today and take us through a bit of the playbook, but we're gonna make it up. So, but the idea is that we're calling this our Success Playbook, and really it's we before Joey we called this a roadmap, but the playbook is probably a very apt, and it sounds like fun, more fun, more fun. And then the next step here in our thing is an action plan. So we take the playbook where things, and at that point, really, we can hand that over to your team. You can go do it yourself or have people do it, but it's more fun if you do it with us. And we have our team has a lot of capabilities in a bunch of areas, and so we created an action plan, and then we help implement it. So we really try to launch your dream mission and into the world. So that's what we're getting at today, and I'm going to close this up. And so part of what we want to communicate today is, what this playbook would look like, and how it would look like for us to work with you on making this playbook real. So do you want to go first, Betty? You want to say a few things?
Sure. Well, the playbook is it's a strategy plan for getting things to happen the way that you want them to do. And so, as the mission clarifier, if you like, or the content person, or whatever hat it is I'm wearing on that day, I work on figuring out exactly what you want to accomplish. What is your branding? What is your messaging like? And what kind of clients you want to reach? Who do you want to be for them? And what do you want them to realize that they're going to get from working with you? And then when we have that, then we can start to construct the playbook. The playbook goes through a bunch of different kinds of strategies, just going from the template from the one that's been developed for a current client. It goes through the social media strategies, the YouTube strategies, the LinkedIn processes. Well, that's under social media. The book launch strategies and the personal branding, all of which are related, and there's other elements as well. It's a very large project, but it's an example of how having a system in place with checklists and things like that can make it a whole lot clearer, especially if you have a group of people working on a project, a team of, say, 4 or more people. You really have to clarify all the roles that are involved. And as Greg mentioned, once the playbook is in place and everybody understands the strategies, you can work with us to implement those strategies. If you have teams or staff that already do some of these things, then you can have them do it in conjunction with the methods that we outline, or some combination thereof. So that's the basics of, what is a playbook. Well, you could call it a storyboard, but we decided to call it a playbook.
Yeah, there we go. And yeah, so we've got through the playbook, and uh, at one time and actually the best way for you to get an idea of the playbook is to make an appointment with us, and we'll talk
Right.
about your mission, and then we'll describe in more detail about what the playbook is. But let's talk a bit about the implementation, and that's where Roy comes in, because he's the niche domination aspect of our trio here today. And that's real world stuff, like how do you get people found on the search engines, um, how you get all the keywords working, and really take your mission and make it present online. And maybe you can talk a bit about that, Roy.
Yes, this playbook is really kind of an embellishment upon what I've been doing with niche domination for over a decade. It's actually getting it down to, this is what you need to do every day. This is what I do on Monday. This is what I do on Tuesday. This is what I do on Wednesday. If you're going to work all 5 or 7 days or whatever, but um, the object is to get your message across where your ideal prospects are. And so a big part of that is finding the keywords that are going into the messages, which are a combination of content on the various different applications. But the keywords are really important because the search engines really live by the keywords. So when you have the right keywords in your content, they send those people to you that are interested in that. If we word these things properly, and we do, you end up getting the kind of people that are interested in what you have to offer, and not a lot of people that aren't interested. They're just there for information, but they really have no intention of taking our client up on what they actually have to offer. So we structure it in that manner. So there are the keywords, as we've been talking about recently, are really different for each application. They're largely the same, and therefore, if you've got good Google keywords, they pretty much go across the board. But there are slight variances for each application, and especially for YouTube, which is even owned by Google, but yet the keywords that you're going to use on each are slightly different. They're more generic. People are looking for information on Google. And when they've really got what they think they want, they go to YouTube to get more detailed information, maybe know how to use the service or the product, and just they make the purchase there. It may be made off of YouTube because now they've got the information that they need. They usually start with Google, although it could be with LinkedIn or it could be with Facebook, but usually it's with Google, and they often end up on YouTube if your prospects go to YouTube. So there's no point in getting your message across to places where your prospects aren't going. So this is all the kind of thing that I do to make up the playbook, and each of the four of us have our own expertise on various parts of it. Does that help, Greg?
Yeah, no, that helps a lot, Roy. And I just going to iterate with the whole team. I think the whole thing is we've all run a sort of uh, been sole entrepreneurs and worked alone a lot, but we're having a lot of fun working as a team and everybody brings in more. What it means is that Joey brings a lot to the team, Betty brings a lot to the team, and we all combine, and we sort of, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 is 1,111, right? So we can really do a lot of things. So Betty is her in this process here. When you're working with us, the first thing we're going to do is we're all going to have a conversation with you, see what your mission is, where you want to go. Then the next step will be to sit down with Betty and spend more time with Betty, just clarifying your where you want to go, what do you want to do with it, and she'll come up with a really good basis, and then from there we will make some recommendations. And so my interests lie in landing pages and websites, online courses, memberships, that kind of thing. And Betty and I help people publish books, so there could be any of those components to it. And then Betty, really, we're all pretty good at taking existing content and spinning it out and putting it everywhere, blog posts, social media, YouTube stuff. And we can help with, Roy and I can help with video campaigns and paid advertising. So we have a lot of things that we can bring to the table. And Joey's not here, but she brings a ton of stuff, especially related to branding and personal appearances and becoming an influencer, and how to really elevate your presence online. So that's really her magic sauce.
Yeah, so, Joey's all about amplifying your signal, as she calls it. What's the essence of what it is that you want to represent, or that you do represent, and
right.
What are you actually doing with your energy? And from that, we work on a branding strategy that carries you across all the mediums.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm working on right now is a very extensive document outlining a content map for a client that is going to use the same content across all different mediums, with bullet points for the videos, articles. I'm going to be conferring with Roy about keywords for the different platforms and everything, so that I can hand these items off to the various teams and people who will implement them, and have a smooth, coordinated process, because it is a fairly large team. So I'm excited, because once we have this thing making sense in a way that anybody can go and look at it and find what they need, I'll feel like I did something that is really going to carry the mission forward, and it goes straight into the playbook. So the playbook the playbook started it, and then it will land within that. It will be a check mark in the playbook.
Yeah, for sure. And depending on the client, in this case here, they have a fairly big team and inclined to do some things themselves. And then some of the things that we'll do, and we'll be consultants on it, or in many cases we just do it. We do whatever's needed to be done.
Yeah.
We just get her done. So
Right.
And so we're flexible. We're flexible both in the mission. We want to only do things that are going to reinforce, amplify your greatness and the brilliance of your mission. We don't want to reinvent you. So, we just work with what you want to accomplish. And we have some key things that we're going to recommend to everybody, including improving your online presence, and then doing the keywords, and, making sure you identify what your niche is and how you're going to attract the right people to what you're doing. But there's lots of flexibility in that, and we're going to do things. And our process generally is we'll create the playbook, and then we have a meeting with you once a week, and we determine where we're at, and then we reassess what the priority is for the next week, what we're going to focus on, because sometimes that changes. Circumstances change, things change, or things, we have to be flexible, and we just, at any given week, we're going to do what we think is the most optimal use of our time in that time to move you forward.
Yeah.
And certainly the longer that we work with you, the more it will change, because if nothing else, by the end of the first year, you've probably accomplished what you wanted to do that year.
Yeah.
And so then you've kind of got to reset goals and all that kind of thing. And the playbook will change a bit, maybe a lot, for what you need to accomplish the following year.
Yeah.
So the longer you stay with us, the more that you grow. And when you get to the point where you don't need us, then that's good. We've been able to get you that far, and now you can take it the rest of the way. But we can take it all the way from just teaching you how to do this stuff or helping you do this stuff to doing it for you, any combination in between.
In
So
between.
every client is going to be slightly different, if not significantly different. And we love that kind of thing.
Yeah, we do. And one way of looking at this, let's say the first thing we're helping you with is a book launch. And we get through the successful book launch, and we're almost for sure going to say, well, can we create something like a course or something out of the book, or let's start on the next book and let's just keep going, keep the momentum going. And so if you have something that you want to talk with us, you've got some audacious dream that you want to implement in the world, no matter how crazy it might sound, make an appointment with us and just run it by us and see if we can help you. And in most cases, we can.
Yeah. The bigger and more brilliant, the better. So
yeah.
Yeah.
and we've heard it all, I think, at some point collectively.
I don't think so, Greg. There's a lot more stuff out there.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. Once you think you've never, well, because in a way, almost everybody who walks in our door is a bit unique, comes from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Like every human's got their own path.
Never the same twice.
Yeah, never the same twice. Yeah, it'd be boring if it was the same twice, I guess.
Yeah, can't do that.
We can't
I think
do that.
A number of clients, when they come to us, they've got a pretty good idea, but when they find out how it could be implemented, the idea can grow. Because all of a sudden they go, whoa, you mean I can really pull this off? Wow, this is great. Well, if I can do that, could I also do this? And then as they're in the process of doing it, of course, more and more ideas come to them.
Yeah.
Oh, if I'm able to achieve this, what I'd really like to do.
Yeah.
They didn't even know what was possible. And then when they find out, it's really not all that difficult when you've got a plan, when you've got a playbook, then all of a sudden a lot of things change.
A lot of things change. And the other thing that we like to do is we like to reuse and repurpose. So it's possible that you might be sitting on a lifetime worth of material, ideas for books, ideas for courses, or things that you wanted to implement. And they're all sitting there in your little treasure, your cave, and we can help pull those out. So you don't necessarily have to invent something completely new. Maybe it's something you've always wanted to do since you were, for the last 20 years, but you just never, the time wasn't right, or you didn't see how you could do it. So come talk to us, and we'll probably figure out how to do it for you, with you. We really like collaborating. So that's our thing, is we like to work with you.
That's a good point. As far as books go, a lot of people have been thinking about writing a book for maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years. And they've been actually gathering material, which they didn't really think that they were doing, but it turns out they did. And all of a sudden, they've got a whole lot of stuff to get started with, and it may carry them a long way. And if the material isn't perfect for the book, it may be good for the promotion of the book.
Yeah, for sure.
So very little has to be wasted.
Yeah. So we have people we've worked with who are taking like a book, and then we're spinning out content out of the book, and we're talking with somebody with the reverse process. They've got a bunch of blog posts and things, and social media posts and videos over the years. So we're going to collect it together and organize it and make a book out of it. So we can go both ways.
It's actually going to be several volumes, because
several volumes. Yeah.
He's written so much, and he's such an expert that it won't all fit in one book. So.
Yeah, and that's actually probably a better way to do it. It's better to do 5 digestible books than it is to create one massive thing that's going to break your nose when you fall asleep in bed.
Right. Yeah.
It's intimidating just to look at the pages in a big book.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, do we have any last invitation? Well, we do have an invitation. Is go to totaltrafficconversion.com. There's some buttons almost everywhere to make an appointment to talk with us. We're all over LinkedIn for sure. You can reach out and connect with us. Facebook, most places, but LinkedIn's our favorite place to connect with. So connect with us. And then you can go to the Success Playbook, where we've described, there's an article there describing most of what we described here, and in fairly concise way. And again, an invitation to make an appointment with us and tell us about your mission, and we'll see where we can go from there.
That's what to do.
And that's what you do. So what do you usually say, Betty, at the end of these things?
I say, well, I think you should just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. So I guess in that spirit, we'll say we'll talk to you soon, and happy Friday, and enjoy your Friday. And
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Friday afternoon, and we'll play our little outro video.
Good evening.
Good evening. It's evening somewhere. It's almost evening for Roy. You're coming up on 5 o'clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's already less sunshine than there was earlier in the day, so it's already going down.
It's already going down. Okay.
With the time change, it starts getting dark already at 6:15, and it's already 4:30. So that's, what is that? Less than 2 hours.
Less than 2 hours. Yeah.
It'll be dark.
I think, yeah, it'll be dark. Anyway, so happy Friday, everyone. And make an appointment. Come talk to us.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah.
You may be surprised on what can be done.
Yeah. Awesome.